All right, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 38 of my Gateway Experience. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome. So, the purpose of these videos is to document my journey through the Monroe Institute's Gateway Experience. The Gateway Experience is a series of 6 tapes. Excuse me. There's more than that. There's 36 tapes total because there's 6 waves with, if you divide that, I mean, that's how many tapes there are in each wave. So I'm on the first wave right now. It's called Discovery. And I am on the last tape of that wave. And that one is called Free Flow 10. So yeah, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, go ahead and check those out because I will be referencing some higher level topics if you want a reference point. Or if you just want to watch this one, watch this one. And if you want to go back, you can go back. It's up to you. And let's jump straight into it. Right now, it is October 1st, 2022. It's 6:21 a.m. I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. I did my morning routine and everything else that I needed to do, including the Free Flow 10 tape. And I want to say, I'm just going to say it, I fell asleep. I woke up and I did my morning routine. I went into my Free Flow 10 and then I fell asleep. Uh, but the cool thing is that even though I was asleep, I was still aware that I was sleeping. You see what I'm saying? It's hard to understand these things. But I was literally aware of my breath, of my slight snoring, of my readiness to wake up whenever the tape was almost ending. And I don't remember Bob coming into my ear and saying much of anything, really. I just went into my pre-preparation process, then I went into my Focus 10. And in my Focus 10, I got to relax quite a bit. But really what I want to talk about today is relationships. Relationships, relationships, relationships. How we relate to one another, and most importantly, ourselves. So let's first start out with the universe, how we relate to the universe. A lot of people think that there's no such thing as truth, there's no such thing as order, it's all chaos, and there's no law in the universe, there's no right or wrong, and those people are, in fact, wrong. And that's not what we believe here. Here we believe that we are more than our physical bodies, and the universe is governed by law. And we can see it all around us. We see the stars forming, we see the wind blowing, we have this thing called gravity that they named it arbitrarily for whatever reason, but basically we stick to the ground. And if we try to jump up, we stick back to the ground. And that is truth. And we need to be aligned with the truth in order to live our lives in a harmonious way. Otherwise, we're going to create dissonance with the world around us. And if we create that with the world around us, we're going to have nothing but friction. So, it's very important. Moreover, the other beings around us. It's very, I mean, the golden rule is the golden rule because it is golden. And that is just to treat others as you would treat yourself. There's no difference. If one suffers, all suffers. It's as simple as that. And then, lastly, the relationship with yourself. Now, I want to talk about this because that's all I can talk about, really, is myself right now. I don't have anybody else right here to ask questions. I don't want to speak for anybody. I just want to present what I have in my story, which is the purpose of these videos. And so I remember, growing up, first of all, a lot of that, and I don't want to blame my parents, but a lot of that does have to do with how you were raised and the environment that you grew up in. is how others treated you tends to be how you treat yourself. So if you're a victim of abuse, maybe like my parents, um, they were very stressed out. I lived in a third world country. It was all about survival. I talked about it in previous videos. It was all about fighting, and I got addicted to that adrenaline rush, that survival instinct, and I would treat myself poorly because I would, whenever I had peace, I would create uh, chaos basically, and I would do it internally by telling myself that I wasn't good enough and that I needed to do more and be more, and all this stuff is just a bunch of nonsense. It really is. And the reason why is because that's not how the creative essence works. The creative essence works from, it starts with a thought, then it turns into a feeling, then it turns into an action. So if the thought is, I'm not good enough, then the action is going to be, or the feeling is going to be, I'm not good enough. And then the action is going to be, I'm not good enough. So even if I get enough, I'm still going to have not enough. So then what ends up happening is I still think I'm not enough, I still feel like I'm not enough, and I still have not enough. So no matter how much stuff you have, you're still not going to be happy, which is just, it's just ridiculous. That's just a torture. That's just hell. And I don't want to live in that. I don't think anybody wants to live in that. So first thing I had to do was switch that. I had to switch that from, okay, hey, look, I am enough. Everything's going to be fine. I have more than enough. Then I feel like I have more than enough. And then all of a sudden, even though I don't have that much, I'm grateful for what I do have. And then I create more. The cup pours over. And so that's what I talked about yesterday in that video when I talked about unlimited resources, being resourceful. It all starts up here. And that's a very important thought, a very important shift that I had to make. But a lot of the times, I heard, and in my process to getting to that point, I heard like, hey, you just have to love yourself. You have to love yourself. And I would be afraid of like, exposing who I was as well, because I felt that way. I felt like if I didn't think I was enough, then other people would think the same thing, and they would know that I wasn't enough because that's how I felt, right? So, which was just erroneous thinking all around. But I would hear this thing, in my search, in my seeking, like, hey, you have to just love yourself. You have to love yourself, and you have to just forgive yourself, and you have to do these things, and that's fine and dandy and everything else. But how can you give yourself something that you don't already have, right? Like, I mean, that's just, it's crazy to think that, right? But so you have to like all of a sudden, if you don't have this thing, you're like looking for it everywhere else. It's like, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do this? And you're just taking, 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 taking. And that's not good either. The way to do it and the solution to the problem is to realize that you are not dual, that you are an in, meaning not, divided, and dual. You are an individual, right? And so, with that being said, it's not about any of that stuff. It's all about just being a human being and being yourself. And that is the most important thing. When you learn to be yourself, when you learn to just be, even if you're going through the worst possible pain, you got to go through it. Because if you run away from it, it's going to come back up later on, and it's going to manifest in a much worse way because it's been festering. So it's all about being yourself. And I got that from The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and from all different sources. And that's the purpose of this practice, really. And I'm going to say the affirmation, which I haven't said in a while, but it's just to understand that I am more than I'm, and you can say it with me too, if you want to affirm it to yourself as well. I am more than my physical body. And because I am more than physical matter, I deeply desire to expand, to experience, to know, to understand, to control, to use. such greater energies and energy systems as may be beneficial to me and to those near and close to me. Also, I deeply desire the help and cooperation, the assistance, the understanding of those individuals whose wisdom, development, and experience are equal or greater than my own. And so, with that, that's really all about love and trust. But it starts by being. And from that, we can expand. And that's why I love these tapes, the Monroe Institute's Gateway Experience, because it allows us to be. And it's almost like being given permission to just be. When we put the headphones on and these frequencies go on in our ear. And really, we have to know ourselves first before we can be ourselves. And that's where the real digging comes in, where we can align our left hemisphere and our right hemisphere and just really activate our one eye up here in the middle. And so, yeah, I just wanted to kind of speak from my heart. I don't want to belabor this point here. I just want to bring some wisdom to the table and bring some value to those of you that are tuning in. And I hope this helps you along in your journey as much as it has helped me. And then, moreover, remember that when we are able to create anything with our thoughts, first we have to understand who we are, then we have to be present, then we can move forward and just do pretty much just about anything. And anything that we can conceive in our minds is possible. The only thing that we have to pay at that point is just the time that it takes to get there. So, with all that being said, until next time, I will see you guys soon. Peace.